Creation's Journey to Life. Day 71. Mind over Matter. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to not realize that mind over matter is not some great achievement. It is only the confirmation of the abusive nature of consciousness, forcing life into inequality, while the self-interest of the fake ego of mental energy and false love feelings are served to have a dream life on earth in the face of the matter, as less fortunate life forms are kept in perpetual slavery. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to not realize that the physical time that it takes for the mind to pattern matter into a specific form like a word, personality, or system, like the money system, requires extensive dedication to dishonesty and abuse, as there are many opportunities for the human to stop and review the result of what the mind formed into matter as the world system, and to see the abuse and refocus mind and matter to what is best for all life. But consciousness as the evil of self-interest will never allow what is best for life on earth. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to not realize that every child born demonstrates over and over that the mind is used to manipulate the matter as the living flesh into abusive robotic organisms that organize to only protect self-interest through systems of robotics, economics, and education, with life not valued at all, and only mind, that which is not eternal, valued, and through this abdicate the right of life, of self, and the children born generation after generation with impunity. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to not realize that the intellect of the human lacks all life morality, as it is not life, but mind as self-interest, and therefore it only designs systems which will profit the self-interest of individuals or organizations or families, while life is just seen as a commodity to be traded for personal happiness. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to not realize that the mind of a child is used to influence the body as matter as life force, of the child to become a slave to the systems that the parents are slaves to. And in this process, each following generation is becoming more and more inhumane, and the ease with which the matter as earth and bodies are abused increases exponentially, with the human becoming increasingly unable to confront the demons that are roaming the earth as their family, friends, and neighbors, and mostly resolved to accept that nothing can be done with an "you can't beat them, join them" attitude. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to not realize that the matter on earth is life, and the mind is the tool with which systems of relationships and communication can be created to have a world that is best for all life eternally. Instead, the mind has been denied and forced into the flesh to become death walking, as the mind as flesh needs to consume vast amount of energy to sustain its self-interest. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to not realize that the key to a world where life matters is in the mind's eye of each consciousness, always. But the desire for self-interest and the fear to lose the freedom of choice to be able to abuse with no regard is too big for the being trapped in consciousness to consider. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to not realize that matter as earth has been placed to test all life in the universe as to association, to see who can be trusted with life as they receive life. This is showing catastrophic results, as the world as civilization demonstrates daily, and throughout history, that the future of man is measurable as a constant horror, where only money will stand between poverty and wealth, with money representing the ultimate tool of the self-interested mind ego to keep the slaves to money in place, never to question the reality of matter on earth. I commit myself to show that the mind is the tool and doorway to matter, where one may choose whether you will be life as what is best for all, or whether you will be self-interest as evil and abuse. I commit myself to show that love that matters will see that each being as a physical life form has the best that the earth has to offer. I commit myself to show that love as the mind will, as it is doing right now, cause matter as life great harm, and create an illusion in the mind with justifiable excuses as to why the love of the mind is superior and apparently the saving grace of the human. Quite the opposite is demonstrated daily. But those controlled by the mind are addicted to the energies and will only face matters for real when there is no other choice. This way of the future is not recommended. I commit myself to call on parents to consider what is taught to children through the mind as to repeat the same mess over and over again, as history in the present demonstrates, is certainly not done by sane people, and that we must therefore question the sanity of humanity, who all use the con of consciousness to drive matters to such grave horrors on earth. I commit myself to show that the mind will have to be used to correct matters on earth and to form matter as the living flesh to that which can be trusted eternally as best for all life, and that this process requires first to remove the current abuse programmed into the flesh before the new form as life can be shaped and formed, and that this will take a minimum of 7 years, removing the old and then 7 years forming the new, with the mind as the tool forming matter as the living flesh.